I was watching this video from Tech Linked the other day, 600 watts for just the GPU, and the GPU has 32 gigabytes of RAM on board. And this other guy says the specs are unbelievable. I haven't watched this video. These RTX 590 specs are unbelievable. It's incredible. It's really amazing. Here, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out for dramatic effect. And yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of companies, Apple in particular, has done some terrific work with emulators for x86 architecture on ARM processors. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if you could have a whatever fucking emulator for GPU processors? And this thing has 32 gigs of RAM on board and a really sick processor. And it's not that big. I'm thinking of a suitcase computer. And I basically at this point I'm wondering, what is the largest language model that you can run with 32 gigs of RAM? Is it 70 billion parameters? I bet you a 70 billion parameter model plus reinforcement learning on the user end would produce very impressive results. I bet you can run a pretty sick language model on this thing. Maybe not a 405 billion parameter model that you need a GPU cluster for that, but just this bitch. And what's nice about it is that it's a GPU. It's not a supercomputer for AI training. It's not an AI specific. I know that the US imposes trade sanctions on super high-tech AI processors. But this thing is just a GPU for playing games. And I bet you can run a pretty sick language model on it. And on a unrelated note, side note, I'm still fascinated with genetic algorithms. Genetic algorithms basically produce random code, and then the genetic algorithm that has the best result gets mated with other genetic algorithms that had pretty good results. It's a very Nazi kind of way of doing artificial intelligence. You delete the ones you don't like, and the ones that are really great, you keep those, and they breed. It's the genetic algorithm version of backpropagation. And if genetic algorithms were optimized to run on a GPU, whatever the biggest piece of code that will run on a single pipeline, I still think that that's promising, and it might have a slower start, but I bet you eventually you could probably trim it down. You'd get something with really good performance, and you could trim it down to 32 gigs. Anyway, I think this is a fascinating card. There might be other more general purpose architectures that can run an emulator that would do the same thing, like a TensorFlow processor or whatever. But this is ostensibly this is for playing games, and it's pretty sick, and I'm into it.